Ooh, fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, happy Fempreneur Friday. This is a conversation on conscious entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
When each week we have a different topic. And this week our topic is haters. Haters and entrepreneurship, because that's a real thing. And oh, those kisses are so cute.
I know.
Um,
I'm like, oh,
but yes, and then times are
calm
really
it
high
down.
right now. Tensions are high, frequency is high, I guess, and a lot of people don't understand why. And so we just wanted to like have a talk because I think a lot of people are coming, having issues with others. There's haters abound. Like just things can happen, and like we don't want this to kind of like distract from our entrepreneurship and distract from our flow, and we don't want it to distract from yours either. So we hope by like sharing our own stories, own experiences with stuff that have been happening right now, it might help you as well. All
Good
right.
morning. Yes,
So yes,
what
good
you
morning.
said, and I have like my morning tea here because just to like calm things down.
Yeah, because
A
things
lot of
have been
energy.
intense. I
Yeah.
wish I had my tea, but I'll get it after. But yeah, so okay, we've just been talking about, well, just to even start off our mornings, like just interacting with people already has been kind of intense, and we don't know if you guys are aware, but yesterday was actually an a solar eclipse in Gemini, and it's like often like if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a business person, it's like, do you believe in spirituality? Or like if you're a business person, like do you pay attention to what's happening astrologically and like how that may or may not affect your business? Like, is that important? But we feel like now times are changing and life is changing, society is changing, but a lot of the changes that are happening right now are like internal and like within your own mind. And it's like, it's almost like kind of this mental kind of warfare, and it's like peace or just like internal complete lack of peace, which creates lack of peace in the world and lack of peace in your business. So we just wanted to talk about like how to maintain your sanity and peace when things feel like they're going a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
I've certainly had my fair share of haters, or just, like we call them haters, but really it's just like people who are going through their own internal battles, and, are not necessarily like dealing with it quite right or dealing with it
Yeah.
in a way that's like kind, or a way that's like conscious or aware and awake and alert. So, yeah.
So
Do you want to
yeah,
say something?
well, I'll kind of like just kind of wrap up where we're starting and just like kind of what you were saying. And like for someone, I'll say like me, social media is definitely a huge culprit. Yes. So I know you were talking about, are people sensing like kind of what's going on right now astrologically, spiritually, all of these other things. And then I'll say from the other side that I've never really completely like dived into that so much, but like for me, it was
Right.
like kind of the self-development side and yeah, spirituality. But
Right.
if you just notice, and even if you're not into those things, kind of like just notice the shift that's happening with just our, like personal awakening, I should say, if I can just name it in
Yeah,
that
that's
way.
good. That's a good
and
way to
and the
say it.
reason why is because like there's so many things going on, right? There's like a technology revolution. We were like, now in this technology age, we can get on the phone, get in the camera, and like talk to the people in the world. Like there's so many things advancing in that area. Then like there was industrial revolution, all these revolutions, the Great Depression, what we went through, similar with COVID, everything's shutting down. And now like we're coming out of this COVID time, or like this shutdown time, but there's been like a personal awakening, and it's like awakening of the mind, awakening of the spirit, and like this is like the next level of where if you weren't paying attention to those things before, it became
Right.
so apparent because of everything quieting down, and that's just like what
Yeah,
happened, right?
right.
So
And
go
well,
ahead.
it's like if you didn't take the time during COVID, like that time to just really like dive in, dig in, kind of, like learn more about self, like learn more about who you are, what
Yeah.
things, how things feel for you, like things
Right.
that have happened in your past, navigate through that in some way. I feel
Right.
like if that hasn't happened, then right now people are pretty much getting slammed with that. Like there's,
Mm.
it's just like being awake, being aware, being conscious isn't something that you're just like, okay, like that'd be fun to do. No, it's just like a part of this human experience. Like it is a
Yeah.
part of life. And so then thus it has to be a part of like how your business flow goes. It's a part of your business, you know? Um, Hi, Erin.
Oh, I know. I think
Yes,
I think the
yes. So
awakening
that's,
became most for the creatives. I totally agree. And also because like they were in the position to like experience that, right? Like everything was shut down and yeah, totally get it. And you know what? It's like cuz I think also that they're kind of like leading the way already and
yes.
it was just
So
like a new level and yeah, we're all kind of
absolutely,
in
no,
that realm right
yes.
now. Yeah.
Yes. And well, because I think that creatives are a bit more in tune and tapped into like what's happening and what's going on around us. And so it's like people are going to be waking up day by day. And I feel like people are waking up day by day and realizing that you can't really run a business and ignore spirituality. You can't run a business and explore what's happening in the world, you know,
Mhm.
or ignore what's happening to explore.
Hi,
But, you know,
Brian.
like it just is not possible to ignore what's happening in here, you know,
Yeah,
anymore. So
yeah,
I've been also, so piggybacking off of that, off of the creatives waking up more,
right.
I'm going to bring in an app to this conversation, which is Clubhouse. And people are like, it's helping creatives come together. It's helping people build community. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm too cool for Clubhouse. It's just another app. I don't understand this and that. But at the same time, it's really like, but if you really don't, I mean, if you don't understand
Mm,
that, that's cool. But it's like, it really is a lot about building community if you're using it in a positive light. But it's also waking a lot of people up in a way. Like a lot of people are having conversations, conscious conversations, higher conversation or whatever. It's causing people to like, you know, wake up, become more aware, alert, you know, about just who's living in like London and feeling the same way as you at a certain hour or something like that. But at the same time, I think it's creating like, you know, when you get these awakenings, when you're like, okay, so I can't really
there
just
is
like
other
live my
way.
life and ignore spirituality or what's happening in here, then I feel like, you know, it can create some weird things when you finally are awake and alert and do understand that there is a wider, more broader, expansive world and universe than you think.
Mhm.
And I've experienced this last week like the strangest things on that happened just in life in general. Like for me, you know, like haters or that the concept of that is not, it's like not foreign to me. I've obviously, you know, like experienced that here and there in my life, but I've never thought about like that happening like on social media per se, or just like on an app per se. But yeah, that happened to me kind of this week. And like I was like blocked by a woman that I hardly know, or, you know, and she's blocked several women. And it's like, just, you know, kind of like almost attacking women who she doesn't necessarily know or thinks might be like kind of weak because maybe you're like going through it. Maybe you kind of on a spiritual journey. And in that spiritual journey, you can be kind of like feel depressed or kind of feel anxious or whatever. And a lot of people see that like as weak or a pinpoint to attack certain people. But when you block people on Clubhouse, you can't get into certain conversations. You can't see certain conversations, and thus you can't learn specific things. So this woman essentially blocked me, and I can't see like a lot of the conversations and the communities that I was involved in on Clubhouse. And she's done this a few times to various women. But for me, it's more like when I see these things happening and this kind of like haterism happening, or people trying to like block your flow or get in the way of how you're trying to move and evolve and grow as a person, like that's deep. And that means like there's a whole lot of inner work that has to be done on a personal level for that individual. But it also makes me like, well, I don't want this to happen to any other women, and I don't want other women to be targeted like that. So I definitely stand up when these kind of things happen, and when like I'm targeted and when other people are targeted, I stand up in my own ways, you know, like, but Yeah, it's real out here. And I think when people see that you are at a place of peace within your career, within your life, within your mind, really, and even you might not even have anything. You might not even have anything but peace. Sometimes people like look at that or like, well, I don't have that, you know, and how do I get that? And because that person has that, I want to shake their peace. I
Yeah.
want to threaten their sense of, you know, stability and their sense of what they have because I don't understand how they got it or how I can get it.
Yeah.
Go, Stacy.
Okay. I think the topic of execution is key in the hater conversation. Okay. Love that, Erin. Yeah, just like about just like keep going and like, success is the best revenge, I guess I like to say.
Yeah, really.
So you just like keep going. But you're right, Brett, that like people can get upset over the smallest thing. It's just like, oh, she's happy. Like, why she's so happy? Like, oh, why she
Right.
always so happy all the time? Like people can make the worst thing.
But you don't
And
know how it took somebody to get to that level of happiness. You don't know
right,
what that person's been through. You don't know
right,
what the journey was. Like, you
right,
don't know what brick by brick, you know, a person like, you know, laid to
yeah,
have like the beautiful career or life that they have. But when
yeah,
people see this, especially on social media, it's like, they want to like get it very quickly. So they skip steps and they're
yeah,
like, oh, I see this person's happiness. I want to get there here and now, like right now. And you know, bypass all these steps that I don't understand to get there.
yeah,
And then they get frustrated because they understand that, oh wait, maybe this is a bit more in depth than I thought, you know.
right.
So hating's the easiest thing to do, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, if you're just joining, we're talking about haters, how to deal with haters, how do you ignore that and keep going? Like, something Erin was bringing up, just like keep going in your business when those things are disrupting. So feel free to leave any comments of how you deal with those things. And what we're talking about is, I love what you're saying, Brett, about just, you know, recognizing kind of like where they're coming from, right? Like some part of it is that what you're mentioning, like jealousy. It could be something internally that they haven't set with well and that they see in you and they're like, oh, that's easy. And then they try it and realize, yeah, shit, it's not easy. Um,
right.
so, oh, and I loved how you said we were talking about just celebrities. We're like, how do
Yeah,
celebrities deal with this, right? We deal with it on such a small level.
right.
And some of us won't move because of the fear of that, the fear of being judged, the fear of being criticized. And I could definitely attest to that, like not wanting to do things is like, oh, who's going to think this and who's going to think that? And who is she to do that now?
Right.
So,
And
definitely it's something that continues to stop us. Okay.
yes, exactly. And well, because I was just talking about, like you said, celebrities, because we were talking about how, like, if you think about it, you know, if you really want to rise and evolve, like, I think you have to factor in the fact that more people might be seeing your content, more people might be exposed to you, and like, how are you going to deal with that and navigate through it? So yeah, we were thinking about like celebrities because it's like they wake up every day and see like negative comments on their Instagram or like hear, you know, get a negative blog post or like people are talking about them here or there. And I'm sure blocking them left and right. But it's like, how do you, and so many of them deal with it so gracefully, and it's just like you have to have that unshakable peace. I call
Right.
it like, you know, that peace that passes all understanding,
Yeah.
because it's like when you build that up within yourself, and that's really a solo project. Like it's a really
Right.
isolated project, which is why a lot of people fear it. But when
Right.
you do build that up for yourself, like no, people can't fuck with you. Like you really do become like unfuckable with,
Right.
and it's like that's what I think a lot of people just don't understand, and they get frustrated with it, right? Like this is a silly example, but you know, like the singer like Danny Lay, like she has, you know, had a lot of situations right now, but she experienced a lot of haters, and people are just on her page like trolling her and saying all these things, but she doesn't interact, she doesn't engage, you know, she stays calm, she holds her ground, and like who knows what she might be going through in her life, but she just doesn't let it shake her at this point. And maybe she has before. I think we all let it shake us at some point or another, and then we learn a lesson from like, you know, the negative. It's just like when you really like react to a hater or to somebody who's trying to disturb your peace, then I think you just cause more disruption in your own life and your own flow in your own business. Like
Yeah.
yeah, because if I was to tap into this, the way that like this woman's kind of been like hating on me or targeting me on a fucking app, you know, then I would like let it sink into flow. Like, you know, like what I want to do with my business today, or like what I have planned on my to-do list, or, you know, the actual conversations that I do want to do, or, you know, the people out in IRL. So I think that it just is really about maintaining that
IRL.
peace. Yeah, I know, IRL. In real life.
I
But
had to
like,
like think about that for a second. Like, wait, what is that?
yeah. And I think that like today, you know, I meditate every day before I go on here, going to this matrix or go into any app. But I think that really it's about meditating, it's about breathing through things, and it's about just, I think, holding your ground by, you know, just standing in your peace, you know?
You know what? I totally I agree with you. It's about like kind of getting to the level where it doesn't matter to you anymore. And also just to like kind of piggyback on that, just it's so funny that 10 things can go right. Like 10 people can be like, "Oh, you're amazing. Thank you for this, all this stuff." And then you can get that one comment that like disrupts your
Yeah.
day, you
And
know?
I don't want to live
And it's
like
like
that.
yeah, it's like moving through those levels and feelings and interactions and also checking out with us. And I love what you said about what someone told you. So mention that after in a second. Um, but another thing is checking into like what's disrupting us, right? Because if someone's saying something at the level to where you're disrupted is how much you're also not right with that thing.
Right.
So
Right.
let's say like someone, for example, always struggled with their weight, right? And somebody makes a comment about their weight and they're so upset like this person would talk about that, then there's something about them themselves that have been telling themselves the same thing over and over and that is not right with it. Like if someone told me like just in general, that's just not an area that I have been really struggling with, right? So someone told me that, I would be like, oh well, who cares, right? But that is because it doesn't hit me personally. But if somebody can tell me something other, you know, somebody can tell me something about, okay, like being nice or, you know, like, cause that's like vulnerable, something that like hits me. I'm just like, you know, like why they always talk about that, or, you know, so
Right.
just noticing that in yourself, like as a personal growth factor, that can be something for your development.
Exactly.
But yeah,
And I
so talk
think
about also how that could be like, yeah, like
right,
what you
because
said
okay, so
earlier.
like the more I think, I mean, I know, like the more that we rise, the more the higher level wise that we get, the higher in our careers, our entrepreneurial careers and goals that we get. It's like I think that, you know, the more people you're going to attract with that. And, you know, naturally sometimes I think you'll attract some hate with that or some, you know, negative comments with that. But instead of I think like getting so like, oh my god, this person is hating on me, like what do I do or how do I navigate through this or whatever, I think instead of like stressing about it so much, it's like flip it and be like, okay, well, what is this trying to teach me? Or like, you know, how can I learn from this and how can I grow from this and how can I make me stronger and my business stronger?
Right.
And I think that sometimes when these things happen, it's like these persons come in and yeah, like somebody kind of said this last night in a clubhouse room that I was in, but they're like, when such things happen, it's like it's really just the universe putting these people in your path to like teach you a lesson, to like show you that like, you know, like that that you're moving places and you are moving up and you are evolving. Like when you have haters, like you are shifting and doing the right thing and evolving. But like it's also like having somebody hate on you in some kind of way, it forces you to move. It forces you to like up level in some way and shift in some way because like that's happening, you know? Like for
Like
me,
it's a
because
disruption. Basically, it's a
yeah,
disruption, right? And you have to move some type of way. Everything
right.
can't go exactly as it was going, right?
Right. So instead of being like frustrated by like why is this person like blocking me like this? It's more like being thankful that it's happening because it's like, oh, you know what? Thank you for showing me this. Like thank you for, you know, helping me maneuver now in this way so that I can like up level myself even more or
Right.
stand in my power even more. Because
Right.
sometimes it's like when somebody's attacking you or hating on you, it's almost like kind of like it's like a way to kind of silence you, disrupt your peace, silence you, just get like, you know, all up in there. But if like you flip it and are like, okay, you know what? Let me stand up in this instead, you know, let me allow it to share my story more. Let me allow it to help me help others more. And let me allow it to make my business that much more positive and that much stronger, you know? So it's like, it's all about perspective, and it's all about just shifting your perspective, because that's really all that life is. When bad or negative things happen, it's just all perception. It's like, there's neither like, it's not, nothing's ever good or bad or light or dark. It's just how you look at it. And especially that's so key for entrepreneurship, because like in just a single day, I feel like you'll be hit with so many different things going wrong, like from technology to like delays and emails that you're waiting for, or opportunities. But it's just like, you know, if you understand that it's all part of the process, and it's all really, everything's really for your highest good at the end of the day, it's like, then you can really keep your peace, hold your peace, stand your ground, and you're good. Like nobody can ruffle, you know, your feathers or create waves in your, you know, your stillness.
Yeah, I like that. We were talking about how even what you were saying, just like how it could be keeping you from something. So I know for relationships that haven't worked out, or even like my business partnership that didn't work out, even though it was really sour, it was really not a good situation, how everything went down. And that person thinks really bad of me, let's say. But I'm so happy now. I mean, it was a very hurtful situation, but I'm happy that you're right, that the relationship didn't continue with her thinking those things about me. Like, how could we have a relationship if it didn't come out, if it wasn't out the way that it was, then we would be living in this thing that isn't real, you know?
Right. And imagine like, I mean, yeah, like imagine if you had still, so I guess for a little recap, like Stacey had an experience where she went into business with a person, you know, who owned, was like a spa with you, or rented a spa with you, like to you know, do a service. And the girl ended up being really shady and was definitely hating on Stacey. And but at the same time, it's like, yeah, if that girl never showed like who she actually was to Stacey, like her truth, then you would have been, yeah, in a really messed up situation, like even deeper than, you know, you were already in. So I think that these happen.
So when things come to surface, it's like the truth actually, or the things like finally come to light. And it's like, even though it can be very painful, it's horrible, it's like also I'm very grateful for when things like actually come to surface and actually show its authenticity, because that's your only opportunity to change, to move, to like, oh wow, this thing I was never really aligned with. And although like also I felt that, right? I felt that from the time that we decided to go into partnership together. And instead of listening to my own intuition, I still kind of like looked on the outside of like, oh, this would be a pretty thing to do together. This would be like, this is part of the dream, but this is like a part of the dream that I thought I would want.
Right.
And I let that lead me instead of my intuition. Like if I can wait for the actual thing that I want, instead of like what may look like the thing that I want. Then it can make a huge difference, right? Like how much times have I done that in relationships? Like, oh, go after like, wait, this kind of looks like what I want. This like, and then you have the feeling inside, like, no, this is the thing. Like, this is not it. But
and,
you're like,
and if you ignore that, it gets worse. Yes, because it's really just like listening, because you know, you might have those inklings about people, or like being like, I don't know, like this happened, but should I keep going down this direction, or should I keep this relationship like alive, or this, you know, business connection excuse me, going. But I think that it really is about just listening to that inner voice. And the only way you can really listen to your inner voice is by getting still. Like, that's why so many people meditate before, you know, so many entrepreneurs or like artists meditate before they start like working, painting, whatever it may be, because it's like, that's what, it clears things, it quiets you, so you can hear that intuition and that inner voice. Because when you ignore that, like, things can go wrong. Because, you know, like when my situation happened, I had an inkling, you know, that this woman was this way or that this would happen. But I kept going because, you know, I always try to see the best in people. I always hope for the best. I always hope that they're not like actually out here attacking women, you know, and then preaching elsewise. But it's just like, I think that I just want that so bad. Like, I want other women to feel peace. I want other entrepreneurs to feel peace. I want people to be able to, like, you know, run their businesses in a way that's not stressful, that's not full of worry, that's not full of doubt, that's not full of fear. But it's like, at the end of the day, sometimes you can't really do that for anybody else. Like, everybody has to do their own inner work, and everybody has to find their selves. And it's hard to find yourself, and so many people avoid it because it's like you have to look at your own self in the mirror, you have to look at your own shadows, you have to look at your lightness and darkness. But it's like, when you do that, it's like, not, you don't just heal and up level yourself, you heal and up level your business, your finances, your life, your money, everything around you, because everything is a reflection of what is happening internally, not externally. And that's what people are missing right now, I think, and why people are so on edge right now. There's a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, that's really what we wanted to speak to you guys about and on. And yeah, we're just wishing you guys so much peace, because there's a lot of unrest going on right now. And, you know, not just from like silly little like app collisions or whatever, just like out in the real life world. Like, we're just being faced with people who are just in their minds very stressed out about things, if it's going on, what's right, what's wrong, what's, you know. And just don't let that seep into who you are. Don't let that seep into your flow, because when you let that in your own personal energy field, then it can disrupt you. But it's like, if you know who you are, you know your own sense of peace, you know where you stand, then nobody can mess with you.
Yes.
So it's all good.
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
I think that was, yeah, that covers it. I feel kind of complete.
I feel complete too.
Yes. Okay, good. So of course, feel free to join us every Friday. We have these conscious entrepreneur conversations every Friday, 9:30 Pacific time, 12:30 Eastern time.
And the recaps are all on the Stuck Designs, my nonprofit, the Instagram. So that's STUK Designs, Stuck Designs. And they're in our IGTVs if you want to see a recap. We also have them all on YouTube. But yeah, I think conscious entrepreneurship is really important. It's I was going to say it's a new wave, but it shouldn't be. But it's like a new wave that, you know, we really, more people will be inevitably tapped into, but, you know, and we're going to keep bringing it to you each week because it's that important.
Yes.
So enjoy your Fridays. I know
have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Yeah. What are you up to this weekend?
I'm believe it or not, I'm still in some ways celebrating my birthday. So I'm gonna I haven't celebrated with some friends just think, you know, people are still a bit distant, people are everywhere, but I finally get to reconnect with another one of my best friends. So it's gonna be amazing, and I'm happy to be in the sun, you know, still embrace the solar eclipse energy, because you know, when you do embrace the good, you see more good. And I just that's what I'm gonna do this weekend. Where are you?
Well, I love your Instagram, and I love everything that's happening over there.
And you.
Right now. Thank you. And me, what am I going to do this weekend? I don't know, but I want to go to Conservatory, which is like this cute brunch place out here in LA.
I love it. It looks like a greenhouse garden.
Yes, I love it. I for sure going to hit that up. Lily may be coming down, so maybe we'll go together.
And take Kiwan.
Yeah, and Kiwan is her new baby too.
And the drinks are amazing there.
Oh yeah, so it sounds so fun. I want to go there, and then yeah, we have like we're gonna be playing in the pool a little bit with my sis and Keelan too. He's been like learning how to navigate the pool, so it's been fun to see him make changes.
And I think you know what, just as a final thing, like I think that's important. Like, you know, even if all these things are happening around you, or people are saying A, B, and C, or everything's crumbling around, just remember to celebrate yourself. Like, have fun, carve out a space for yourself, like have a drink, laugh a little, like live and have fun. And it's like, life is too short to, you know, be stuck in any kind of negative frequencies. So love and light.
All right, have a great day.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Brett.
Talk to you later.